ben.o chart here, and as promised, I'm going to give you an update on the Hogue 2, from Santa Monica Filtration, which you see over my shoulder right here in the aquarium. And I'm going to give you an update of how that thing has come along, how it's developed, and what it's doing in the tank, and how it is being used to control nitrates, to reduce nitrates, and also to reduce carbon dioxide and add oxygen to the tank, which are all things that algae does naturally. So let's talk about nitrate reduction naturally, the way nature does it. Okay, let's go. Nature uses a natural system for filtration, and a very important part of that system is the use of algae. Algae is nature's natural filtration system. You can read about that over at the Santa Monica Filtration webpage, where it talks about how algae is what nature uses to add oxygen to water, remove carbon dioxide, and help control nitrates. It's all done naturally with algae. So the whole concept of an algae scrubber is to take nature's natural filtration system of algae and use it to help keep a tank in good balance with reduced nitrates, plenty of oxygen, and reduced carbon dioxide. This is the Hogue 2 unit from Santa Monica Filtration. It has a little bit of mineral buildup on it, as you can see. I live in a very, very hard water area, Southern California. Our water is very hard. And it just hangs on the tank there. You could just as easily put it between a background and the back wall. My back wall happens to be painted black, so I didn't want to scrape that off. But you could do that. You could hide it behind a 3D background, and that would work fine if you don't like it hanging there. Here it is from the back. And I don't find it that obtrusive. It's pretty thin. You see it from the profile there. And it took a little while to get it to come along. At first, that's the hardest part about these units, these algae scrubbers, at least in my case, was to get it going. You can see here a couple photographs of what developed after a lot of tweaking. To get it going, you need to tweak the amount of LED light exposure, how long you expose it. Sometimes you cover the LEDs to reduce the intensity of them, how many hours you run it up and down, and you tweak it until you get it just right. You can see inside of it now. I'll just twist this and take the back of it off. You can see the algae that has developed inside of it. It is very, very thick algae. And we can look at it close up there with some light. It's a very deep, deep green. And that algae, as it's circulating, which the bubbles are helping it to circulate water, is removing nitrates, consuming carbon dioxide, and releasing oxygen into the tank. And you can see it's fully covered now. It's lost that white bald spot it had in the middle, which was the hardest part for me to get covered. You can see there's some nice green algae growing on the glass, responding to the perfect light frequency provided by the LEDs. If the bubbles bother you, if you don't like the sound of the bubbles, you can also, of course, adjust the entire unit the way I have. I simply run it near the top here and almost perfectly quiet. Of course, the real test is, let's see if it reduces nitrates. This is a Nitrates kit from Test nitrites and nitrates. Let's go right to the nitrate test. My nitrites are at 0, ammonia 0, chlorine 0. Let's see here. One drop of this bottle number 1 rather, nitrate 1. And then you do one level capful of the nitrite 1 rather, 1 drop of nitrite 1, and then you do one level capful of nitrate 2. Give it a little stir. And let's see here. Not the easiest one to match up, but let's see. That's getting a little bit too dark. Let's come back a little bit. Say right in this range right here. Let's go a little bit conservative and go here. So we're somewhere in 20 to 30 range, and normally my tank tends to run in the around 40, 35 to 40. So when you take into consideration that the tank had new stock added to it, and so it's heavier, it's more heavily stocked than it was before, and I'm down in the sort of 25 to 30 range, I would say that algae scrubber is doing something of value from what I can tell here. As an additional point of comparison, I've gone ahead and also run a Easy Strips Tetra. I know some of you folks don't like the Easy Strips. Some people love them. I mean, some people say they're even more accurate than, or just as accurate based on comparisons. But this one was dipped in there for a second. It's been sitting here for about 30 seconds. So let's take a look here what we got on the Easy Strips. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks lighter than that. Yeah, we're sitting around 25, 30. You know, we're everything else you can see looks good. You can see here very hard water, extremely hard water, and 0 chlorine, 0 nitrite, and let's see here, very bright green there. It's pretty green. To the naked eye, this one looks more like 120 on total alkalinity to the naked eye. And also to the naked eye, it looks like we've got pH at about 7, maybe 7.5, somewhere in there on the naked eye. Naked eye, let's see here. Yeah, to the naked eye, the camera it changes a little bit going back and forth, but naked eye, I'm looking at about 25 nitrates, which is very low for the level of stock I have in my tank currently, and very low compared to what I was running normally. So I would say that yes, this tank is actually getting a benefit from the algae scrubber. So that's the update on the algae scrubber. I think overall it is doing a good job, and it is helping to reduce nitrates, especially when you consider that there is an increase in stock in the tank, and I was expecting to sort of end up at around 35 to 40. Instead, I'm in the 25 to 30 range. Now, full disclosure, I have continued to do water changes. So I don't think you are water change free, but that routine has remained the same. The only thing that has changed actually is I have added more stock to the tank. So if anything, if the algae scrubber was not doing anything, I would have expected to be closer to the 30 to 40 range in my nitrates. Instead, I'm in the 25 to 30 range, which I consider to be a fairly safe range. I know some of you shoot for 0, and good for you. And at any rate, that's it. If you have any questions about the algae scrubber or any ideas about reducing nitrates naturally, please post them below. If you have any experience with algae scrubbers, please post them below. Post what you've learned or know about them. I'm always looking for more information. And in my next video, I'm going to take a page out of Evan Alexander's book, and I'm going to hide some of the equipment that you see in my tank and create a sort of natural overflow using the 3D background. So stay tuned for that. It should be kind of interesting and hopefully remove some of the equipment that you see in the tank. I'm going to have to do some cleaning behind the 3D background, and I figured while I'm back there, I'm going to do a few changes that might result in being able to hide some of the equipment. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit the logo when it appears over here, and you can sub the channel, and also be sure to visit the group, the Facebook group, ben.o.cichlid, and follow on Instagram at ben.o.cichlid. All right? Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. You are appreciated. All right. Bye-bye.